Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Om. No going back. Every step is forward. And that should be the case. A lot of us, we do go back and visit things that we, shouldn't, and get backslide into habits that we know we shouldn't, like eating too many donuts and, or too much cheese. We know this is not good. So every step should be a step forward. When you learn better, you do better in theory. So, that makes sense. Periods of intense forward movement often give way to periods of what seem like stagnation. And I know we all know that. We all feel like we get stuck sometimes and like nothing's happening, nothing's moving. We're, beating our head against the wall, or, as one of my former therapists said, beating the proverbial dead horse. So we all have those feelings sometimes. There are times when we feel that we are spinning our wheels in the mud in terms of our spiritual progress. And if you've ever tried to, get a higher spiritual connection, then sometimes this is true. Sometimes you feel like, God's just not listening, but there are, times, like I say, Squire Rushnell and them call them God winks, but, sometimes you get a little sign, that he's there, he's paying attention, and it's going to be in his time, not yours. This can be especially true following a period of major growth in which we feel as if we've gained a lot of ground. And sometimes we do that. We grow in leaps and bounds sometimes. Sometimes you're just sitting there and nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, stuff starts happening. And you can even get overwhelmed. There was a point in time where I was overwhelmed. I was turning down, offers because I just had so much on my plate I couldn't do anymore. So, sometimes that's how it goes. In fact, this is the way growth goes. Periods of intense forward movement give way to periods of what seems like stagnation. Like I said, we all have these feelings. It's normal. Don't feel like you're special if you got them going on. In those moments, when we feel discouraged, it's helpful to remember that we don't ever really go backwards. Because, unless you sabotage yourself, and a lot of people got that self-sabotage bug, then you're not really hurting yourself when you're not moving forward. It may be that we are at a standstill because there is a new obstacle in our paths, and sometimes that's true. I experienced some obstacles. Number one was my health. Number two was my ability to work hours that were long, because at one point for almost a decade I was a single mom, so I had kids that I had to take care of, so I couldn't do everything that would have helped me to become better in my professional life. But my kids are more important than my professional life. I don't care who has an opinion on that, but that's a fact. Or a new layer to get through, because as we know, like I used to tell my students and coaching clients, a goal, is something that you strive towards, and you should make an outline on things you think you need to do to reach this bottom goal. And you're always going to find, usually, that there are more layers that you didn't know about, and your 1, 2, 3 is going to become like a 1A, 1A1, 1A, 1B. There's more usually to anything than we realize that there is. So there can be layers to success, but the hard work we have done cannot be undone unless, like I say, you undo it yourself, do some self-sabotage. Every step on the path is meaningful, and even one that seems to take us backward is a forward step in the sense that it is what we must do to move on to the next level. And you have heard, I'm sure, that lessons keep coming around till you learn them. And in a sense, that's true. Because if you haven't dealt with this type of thing before, it's just going to keep coming back to haunt you, so to speak. And really, it's just that you're being triggered or something's, pushing your button like we were talking about yesterday. And, you have to deal with a thing to get over a thing until it becomes not a thing anymore. In addition, an intense growth spurt requires that we rest for a time in order to fully integrate the new energies that have been liberated by our hard work. And I know when I had to switch from working at an office to working from home, I had a lot more downtime because I wasn't driving back and forth. And honestly, there are some folks who, don't feel like you are as effective if you're working from home, which is not true. It's just a change in locale. And in the long run, it's going to save you money because you're not driving to and from an office every day. That's, I had someone when I let my office go because, I was like, it's better for me to, and they were like, oh no, well, people are not going to think you're real if you don't keep your office. And, I'm like, well, then that's kind of their problem because I'm very real and, I do have things to teach and help you with. So that was their problem in my opinion. When we feel we are not making progress, we can encourage ourselves to take a moment to rest. And sometimes that's what you need to do. I've experienced burnout at a couple places, and I know other people have experienced burnout too. And sometimes you just need to take a step back and say, this is getting to be too much to deal with. I need to stop, take a break. I've been taking some breaks here recently because the temperature here has just been so crazy hot. And if I'm having problem breathing or my chest is hurting, I'm like, you know what, I'm going in to my room where there's an air conditioner, and I'm going to sit in there and deal. I've got it angled now where I've got a fan over here. You can probably hear the noise. And it blows the air towards me from that room. And that way I can stay in here. I used to have a little portable air conditioner one of my sons gave me, and it quit working last year. So yeah, that's gone. But, and my husband is experiencing some serious health issues if you've been watching this at all. And so I've needed to take a break, worrying about him and dealing with the, medical stuff. And then trying to do, work too is just too much, for me. So, sometimes we just need to take a break. We can meditate more, feed ourselves well, and get extra sleep. And all of those are good things. If you haven't meditated before, I recommend you Google a thing or get a book, and do some type of meditation because it really does help you center, and it will help you clear your mind. And of course, we all know how to eat well. Actually doing it's a whole other thing, as I was talking to my doctor about a few weeks ago. But I've been good, except for my birthday. Hey, it's your birthday. You get to treat yourself upon occasion, or you won't stick to, eating well the rest of the time. And sleep. If you're tired, you need a nap, take the nap, but don't let it become a habit, because then, it's a habit and you lose part of your day, and then you don't get things done you need to get done. Before we know it, we will be spurred on to work toward the next level of our development. And this rest will make sense then as something we needed in order to continue. Because, everything happens for a reason, they say. And God has a plan, and you don't know what that plan is. You just know what your plans are, but your plans might not be His plans. So, sometimes we need downtime. And sometimes God's going to force you to be like, hey, or send a little angel, hey, slow down. Sometimes it's not up to us. Once the sun rises, it doesn't go backward, but instead follows its path in one direction. It may appear to stand still for a moment in time, or to move more slowly at some point or another, but really it is steadily moving forward on its path. Now, some people might take objection to that because, as we know, the sun's not moving. We're moving, and that's how it looks. So, let's put that out there for the troll folks who would be like, "Oh, you're wrong." It's like, okay, we all know this. Don't be that way. We are the same way, and once we have moved through something, we can never really go back. Because, like I say, when you learn better, you do better. And once we've dealt with a thing and learned our lesson, and it might take 2 or 3 times for some people to learn their lessons. Some people are pretty hard-headed. So once you've learned your lesson, you usually don't go back to, as it says in the Bible, a dog to its vomit, So, we may be resting or revisiting issues that seem old, and it's natural to feel stuck. But in truth, we are always taking the next important step forward on our path. And that is the important thing, that you're making some kind of forward momentum, because if not, you're only hurting yourself. So, there's no going back. The past is past. The future's not here yet. We're in the present. That's why they call it the present. So every step you take should be a forward one. And, don't sabotage yourself. Don't talk bad about yourself. Don't tear yourself down for mistakes, because we all make them. We're only human. And sometimes I've been told I say things I shouldn't say. And that's probably true, because, I grew up around blunt people, and so I'm used to being blunt. But that doesn't always serve me, I know. So, like I say, take forward steps and do things to grow yourself, not hold yourself back. Think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until next time.